You might think you know INXS, but the story behind one of Australia's biggest rock exports is as layered and dynamic as their music itself. And hey, welcome to Music Press, where you can discover and learn more about a new artist every single day. Subscribe for videos delivered daily to your homepage. They formed in the late 1970s, a group of friends from Sydney with a shared love of funk, new wave, and the glitter of rock and roll. In an early interview, lead singer Michael Hutchence recalled, "We were a bunch of kids just messing around with different sounds, but we had an idea that we could make people move. That was always the goal, to make you feel something in your soul and your feet." Their first albums found moderate success down under, but it was the early 1980s that saw INXS refining their blend of rock, pop, and dance rhythms. Tracks like The One Thing and Original Sin signaled a bold sonic evolution. Andrew Farriss once said, "We realized we weren't just a pub band anymore. We wanted to fuse funk and rock in a way that felt new, without losing the grit." That fusion propelled them onto international charts, laying the foundation for the massive success of Kick in 1987, a record that spawned hits like Need You Tonight, Devil Inside, and New Sensation. The awards flowed. They took home MTV Video Music Awards, ARIA Awards in Australia, and even scooped up Brit Award recognition. Critics praised Michael Hutchence's charismatic presence, comparing him to Mick Jagger or Jim Morrison. Hutchence, in a typically understated moment, joked, "I'm just a guy who likes to sing, dance, and get sweaty on stage. If people think I'm a frontman in that league, I'll take it, but it's all about the band." Still, there was no denying his star power. He pushed boundaries of onstage sexuality and glam, sporting leather pants, unbuttoned shirts, and that trademark mane of curly hair. Fashion magazines wrote about his style, calling it a mesmerizing mix of rock louche and high-fashion edge. Over time, the band faced controversies, some mild, some life-changing. Their lyrics occasionally courted accusations of being too provocative, and tabloids fixated on Hutchence's relationships and unpredictable behavior. The frontman addressed it in a candid interview, saying, "Rock is supposed to be dangerous. But people should also respect that we're human, and we feel the weight of what's said about us." There were also internal frictions. As they grew bigger, the pressure mounted. Yet even through these storms, they stayed connected to causes that mattered. INXS members supported several benefit concerts, contributing to youth outreach programs and performing at events aimed at environmental conservation. Kirk Pengilly once reflected, "Music gave us a platform, so why not use it to spotlight things that need attention? We came from pretty humble roots, and we never wanted to lose sight of that." Their cultural impact was evident when major pop acts started citing INXS as an influence. The group's signature groove rock style helped bridge a divide between mainstream pop audiences and the edgier new wave scene of the 80s and 90s. Commercial success, however, brought profound challenges. By the mid-1990s, the band's momentum felt threatened by the rise of grunge and alternative rock. That shift in the musical landscape nudged INXS to experiment more, sometimes to the discomfort of longtime fans. Gary Beers admitted, "You reach a point where you're not sure if you keep chasing the charts or follow your gut. We tried to do both, and it was tough." The tragedy of Michael Hutchence's death in 1997 cast a long shadow. Suddenly, one of the world's most iconic voices was gone. The band soldiered on, attempting various incarnations with different vocalists, but the chemistry that defined INXS in their heyday was difficult to recapture. Even so, their legacy endured, with tribute albums, covers, and a dedicated global fanbase ensuring the INXS name stayed alive in the cultural consciousness. Rock historians frequently acknowledge their role in pioneering an upbeat, danceable brand of rock, a legacy younger bands still draw upon. In later years, a resurgence of interest brought renewed appreciation for INXS. They received Lifetime Achievement Awards, and documentaries explored the nuances of their meteoric rise and personal struggles. The band's philanthropic side emerged more clearly in retrospectives, revealing consistent support for charities dedicated to homelessness and children's education. Meanwhile, the fashion world continued to look back on Hutchence's style, celebrating him as an emblem of fearless self-expression in an era of big hair and even bigger personalities. Looking back on decades of transformation, controversy, and cultural influence, there's one prevailing sentiment the band articulated best. "We did it for the love of music, for the buzz of the live show, and because we wanted to connect with people," Andrew Farriss said in a reunion interview. "Whatever we went through, good or bad, that was always the heart of it." Perhaps that's why INXS endures, even years after their heyday, because they never lost sight of the electricity that brought them together in the first place, a spark that still resonates with every riff and every lyric.